Hello and welcome back to Reddit Replies. In this video, what's something you didn't realize for years members of the opposite sex do? Meatball Lady says, in my freshman year of college, one of my guy friends was horrified to hear that girls' periods last a week. He thought we have symptoms for a week and then let all the period blood out at once, like going to the bathroom. He thought that pads and tampons were for if you knew you wouldn't have enough time to go to the toilet to let it out. MMPB says, I did not know about morning wood until my roommate and I watched the proposal, then had her boyfriend explain to us the line, it's the morning, at age 21. Brentathan says, for a while as a kid all I heard was, girls don't have a wee-wee. So I thought all they had were balls. It took me a while but I figured it out eventual. SMC 5230 says, I found out around 16-ish that when penises become erect it happens in twitches. I thought they just went up in one motion, like one of those pipe whistles. Edit, did not expect this much feedback, since I was 5 hours late to the party. To clarify, I probably should have said pulses, as in the blood pumping into it. However, it doesn't happen in one motion as I previously thought. At least the 4 I've seen, generally it happens in pulses. There were probably other times when it just came up and I didn't see it, so maybe then it did happen like a slide whistle. For the guys confused by this, maybe your penis works differently. iBlueDisBitch says, I used to think that in order to pee guys had to squeeze their penises. Always found it weird when my dad sometimes rushed to the toilet. A deleted user says, okay, me the longest time to figure out why laundry detergent ads bragged about getting out grass stains and blood. I'm like, you gotta hit the grass pretty hard to draw blood. Optimism Love says, they can move their penises without touching it, by flexing muscles. Flake_out says, girls' nipples can come inverted. Tennis Drum says, this isn't really addressing the prompt, since it's something members of the same sex do, but I recently realized guys who are having friendly conversations rarely do so facing each other directly. They are either side by side, or standing in an L shape. It blew my mind when I read that and realized that I had been doing this my whole life without consciously realizing it. Kokukili says, this is amazingly dumb of me, but up until I was in HS, I thought girls only use tampons/pads to prevent potential leaks. I just assumed chicks had a sphincter muscle in their vagina and they sort of held in all their period stuff until they went to the bathroom, just like pooping. A deleted user says, until I was about a sophomore in HS, I didn't know whether girls bled out of their vaginas or their nipples. Sex ed classes always said privates, so I wasn't sure which set. A reason that made me more confused was I saw my friend lean over and I saw some toilet paper/gauze looking stuff in her bra, so I thought she was on her period, guess she was just stuffing her bra, haha. Sneeden says, I'd like to know if girls do this. As a man, if I walk into a bathroom where one other man is shitting, he will almost 100% of the time sniff to make a noise that I'll hear. Every fucking time. Tabishanan says, I dated a guy in high school who thought pregnant women had contraptions when they went into labor. KNGKONING says, I worked with a 25-year-old gentleman, let's call him Paul because that's his real name, who believed every woman in the world had their period at the same time. When he told me this I burst out laughing because I imagined that he saw women's periods as a werewolf change brought on by a full moon or something. God, I miss Paul. Edit, I realize periods sync up to a certain extent, please stop telling me this. I think you are missing the point that our dear mutual friend Paul believed that the symptoms and blood flow began at the exact same moment in time for every single woman on the planet. Don Carlos VII says, girls pee in the shower too. Theoremore Postulate says, the flush before you're done peeing toilet game you gentlemen do. Edit, thought it was self-explanatory, but since I'm getting a million messages asking what this is, apparently the game is to flush in the middle of peeing and see if you can finish before the toilet is done flushing. Timing is everything. Tommy2x4 says, I didn't think that women farted until I followed my extra wide-bottomed aunt up the stairs out of the church basement. I was 7 years old, right behind her, ass high, took me by complete surprise, the horrible odor permeated my nose and mouth, I could taste it, made me dizzy. That's when I stopped believing in God. A deleted user says, this is so embarrassing, but I'm female, and I didn't know myself that I was supposed to wipe after peeing until I was in middle school. Let's just say, before that, I always smelled like pee. Nobody ever told me I was supposed to do that, and I wasn't bright enough to figure it out on my own. It only occurred to me when a friend of mine was going to the bathroom to pee at my house and asked me for some toilet paper. Then I connected the dots and thought that might solve my issue with always having dirty underwear. I wasn't a smart kid, I know. Edit number 2, no, my parents didn't teach me that, at least I don't remember them teaching me that while potty training. And they are not religious, but they are really uptight. All I know about sex and my own body now, I had to learn on my own. Hell, once I asked my mom to buy me tampons cause I was done with how messy pads are, and she told me no cause, those are for old ladies. And I also asked her plenty of times, while still underage, to take me to a gynecologist, and she never did. Once she made a weird comment about trying to find a gyno who wouldn't break my hymen while checking me down there. So yeah, you can guess what type of education I had. Edit number 3, and the most karma I've ever had is from admitting I didn't know how to wipe. Lovely. Thanks for watching this video. If you like, please consider subscribing and sharing the video, this helps us a lot.